Hello everyone, welcome to the SI UK India webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. We are now live with Durham University. Today we have Grant Ingram with us. He will be taking us through this webinar. We'll answer all the questions after the presentation during the Q&A session. So let's start the webinar. Over to you, Grant.
So good afternoon or morning or whatever time it is where everyone is at the moment. So I'm delighted to be here to talk about our MSc in Energy Engineering Management. Now I'm just sorting out the IT. My computer did a fantastic thing of just restarting just the moment before I joined this call, and it's on a bit of a go slow at the moment. So I'm just finding the button to share the presentation for you. Here we go. Right. There we go. No, that's not what I wanted to do at all, is it? Oh dear, oh dear. This is going well. You'd think that I'd have done this before by now. Right, slideshow. There we go. Fantastic. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. Showing the mastery of technology here that we have here. Let me just have a look about that. If I click that button, hopefully everyone can now see a presentation. Someone give me a thumbs up if we can see a presentation. That'd be fantastic. I'll just assume that we can see a presentation.
Yes, we can see. Yes, we can see your presentation.
Fantastic. All right. So with the IT gremlins out of the way, I'd very much like to talk about our MSc in Engineering Energy Management today, and about some of the reasons why you might want to join us here in Durham in the next few months or years. So if I move on to the next slide to just talk about who we are, we've got a bit of a welcome and an overview to give, and we've got two course directors. There's myself from the engineering department, and younger and better looking is Dr. Yanliu Zhao, who is from the Durham University Business School. And this is one of the key things about the program, is that it's a joint endeavor between the Department of Engineering and the Durham University Business School. So it's a fusion between technology and business, and that's very important, and has been the case from the ground up of the program. So what we want to do is we want to talk a little about Durham, some of the highlights of Durham and Durham University, partners in the program, which are mainly engineering and Dubs, but also the Durham Energy Institute. We're going to talk a little about the living in Durham, and then we can go into a little bit of depth about the content and structure of the program towards the end of the webinar, if we have time. So we have a detailed look into two key modules, new venture creation and also renewable energy technologies. If we have time, we'll go into those. If not, we might skip over those. And then I also want to talk about the strategic engineering and business project, which is our capstone kind of key piece of the project where you bring everything together. We have some frequently asked questions and information about scholarships, and at the end we have some time for some questions and answers. So we'll crack on with that. So a few things to say about Durham. I can actually see the cathedral from my office where I'm sitting here. It's a beautiful city. It's a World Heritage Site, and it is a very historic site. It's been a seat of learning for many, many hundreds of years. And it's a very safe environment. Okay, you can walk around, no one gives you any bother, and so on and so forth. It's a very safe place to be. It is also an academically excellent place. We are a world top 100 university, and we are in fact England's third oldest university. So we have ourselves. When you come here, you should expect high academic standards, I suppose, is the key message from that. We're also, the Durham University Business School is one of the very few business schools in the UK that is triple accredited. So it has 3 organisations looking at their programmes and saying they meet a certain threshold. And this particular programme here is a partnership programme between engineering, the business school, and also the Durham Energy Institute. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. We have students across the globe. This will be the second year the program has run, and this year we have students from 6 different countries on our program, and it's a very, very global program as well. It's a technical program with a very applied focus. So it's not an ivory tower academic program. It is a program that is designed to equip you to do something at the end of the program. We have strong industrial links, both with our strategic projects, our visits, talks, and the Durham Energy Institute. And at the end, for those early days of the program, engineers are and people with engineering and engineering and business knowledge are very employable, and we think there are excellent employability opportunities after the program. Okay, the actual university. For those who don't know, there is a picture of that wonderful castle and cathedral there, which actually I can see from my office it's over there in my view. Established in 1832, it's one of a very small group of traditional collegiate universities in the UK. So that means as well as a university, you get involved in a college. It's part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. That castle and cathedral is part of a World Heritage Site. It's a very special place. I walk past it every day, and I think I'm very lucky to do so. Academically excellent. We're in the world top 100 in the QS World University Rankings. The UK top 5 engineering are in the Guardian University Guide 2024. So the point being is you should expect high academic standards should you come to Durham University. I mean, you can pick different league tables and other bits and pieces like that, but hopefully that gives you a good indication of where we sit in terms of the academic quality that we provide. Our staff students come from 120 countries, okay, which is a very large percentage of the number of countries in the world. So we have a diverse social and academic community. So you will meet people from all over the world when you come to Durham, which is one of the great benefits of coming to a very international university. Okay, now the business school, and I'll speak to the business school here, but colleagues, I'm sure will chip in if I get something wrong. Top 10 in the UK in the Financial Times European Business Schools. It is triple accreditation, so it's accredited by a number of accrediting bodies for business. One of the very few places that applies that rigor. And it's a very big department, actually. It incorporates the business school incorporates 4 separate departments, of which a couple are very intimately involved in this particular program. Okay, engineering, which is where I'm from. Again, you can find various league tables and so on and so forth to show the sort of quality that we have here. We have world-leading research, top 5 in the UK, 5th in the Guardian University Guide, and so on and so forth, and 7th in the Times and Sunday Times, etc., etc. We have taught engineering in Durham since 1838, which actually was the first engineering course in England. So we have a proud heritage and history that carries on till this day. Okay, the other organisation that you might not have heard of that's been involved in this is the Durham Energy Institute. Now, this is a research organisation that is designed basically to bring together researchers to address important issues in energy. And they've been very much involved in setting up this course, helping us advise to what to put into it, and they also provide some of the industrial kind of input into the organisation of some of the modules and so on and so forth. So you'll also get the chance to get involved in the seminar program with the DEI. They have a number of very interesting speakers that come to Durham, both in person and virtually, and so you get the chance to take part in their seminar program, which is absolutely fascinating, and is a good opportunity to learn more about the wider aspects of the energy problem. And one thing you find about energy is it's not just a technical problem, okay? So one of the things you find the Durham Energy Institute is quite good at is talking about some of the social and policy implications of energy and what you need to do to make to transition to a zero carbon world. So that's the Durham Energy Institute, which has been involved in the setting up, and also you'll get the chance to interact with that if you choose to come to Durham. Okay, a few things about university life. Here we have our beautiful city. I think I've said it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site at its heart. And you can see on the map there's Durham in the northeast of England. Northeast of England is a lovely place to be. It's relatively uncrowded. It's very near national parks and is actually quite well connected by train to various major cities. So we're about 12 minutes from Newcastle. You might have heard of the football team. London is about 3 hours by train. Edinburgh is slightly less than 2. And Manchester is about 2.5 or so. So we are reasonably well connected, even though we are in the northeast here. Okay. I was going to talk about living in Durham. There's a few points here. As I said, it's a safe and small city. It does have lots of heritage and history. And also it's a very walkable city. I guess that's the new point here. I walk to work every day. and we have most locations are under 30 minutes by walking. Some people cycle. There are buses as well, but it's really not a city that you need to drive around in at all. And it is accessible. The bigger cities are accessible. We also do have a number of different festivals and other things going on throughout the year. So there is quite a lot of activity within the city. Okay, welcome to Durham. We've got a video about welcoming to Durham, so I might just see how this goes. I'll play the video now. Fantastic. I kind of we had the day off. I can go see some of these sites. But anyway, right. Okay, so we've got the other thing about Durham, I think, which is we're very nice, is the college system. So we have 17 distinctive colleges, and what the college does, it provides you a community. So university is quite a big place with quite a lot of people in it. But basically, you organize into different distinctive college communities, which means you get to know a kind of human-sized number of people. And they provide opportunities to take part in some leadership, personal development opportunities, but also, more importantly, to take part in theatre, music, sport, and volunteering. So if you're interested in sport or various other things like that, provides a community in which to kind of like play sport and get to know people and generally deal with people in a sort of human-sized set of activities, which is a fantastic feature of Durham. Okay, there are over 200 student societies to join, and about 85% of our students get involved in some way or another. And we've been the Sports University of the Year 2023, so we are quite good at sport. So if that's your thing, then Durham is a good place to kind of try those sort of things out. Okay, as I said, there are 17 colleges, each of which has accommodation in it, and a large fraction of the university population actually lives in colleges rather than in private accommodation there. And they're all different in different ways. They're all very, very nice places to be in their own way. Okay, so the other thing as well is obviously many of you will be coming to the UK from overseas, and there is a certain element of navigating a new country and so on and so forth as you arrive. So we have a wide range of support services to help you feel well, comfortable, and get the most from your experience. So we can we can give you advice about immigration, healthcare and GP services, finance, other things like that. We have a counselling service and various other services that you can access whilst you're here. To basically make sure that you're supported in your studies as you come through the year that you're with us. Okay, so now we have the opportunity to hear from a current Durham University student who I believe is on the call. So if you would like to unmute yourself, Devang, and talk about your experiences. If you want me to advance the slides, just let's say next slide, please.
Thank you very much, Grant. My journey with Durham has been quite insightful. I came here last September on 15th 15th of September. And for the first 15 days, we were given all kinds of orientation. There were seminars, there were orientation programs, and many more things. So for the first 15 days, everyone made sure that we were quite settled before the academic journey started. At the first day of my lecture, I remembered that our professors told us that in finance, you don't need to learn any formula or anything. All you need to do is apply all the knowledge to the for the research. And that was the time I realized that I am at the right place. All the evaluation and everything is quite practical. Education system is quite practical. So it was really I feel really confident to apply my skills into the practical world to be field ready. All, as I said before, all the examinations have been based on real life scenarios. We were asked to do research, we were asked to do give exams, we were asked to solve sums. There are seminars, there are lectures. Professors even have consulting hours where you can go and meet with them, have a chat with them if you want to ask about something, if you want to if you have some difficulties or doubts or anything like that. And apart from that, the two important things which everyone keeps asking me is about accommodation and jobs. So I think regarding job, I think it's really easy to get job. I don't know what others say, but I really feel it's easy because there are many factors. Like if you see Durham, it's quite close to Newcastle, as Grant already said. And there are many more cities like Darlington, Sutherland, and there are some small towns as well like Bishop Auckland and more. So it's quite easy to get job. You can come here, start by doing some part-time jobs. University has its own department called Careers and Connect, where there are regular seminars held on how to create a CV, on how to create cover letters, how to create a LinkedIn profile. They also provide a service of for doing private consultation, where you can go and show them your CV personally, and they will give you feedback on what you should do and how you can improve your CV, how you can apply to the jobs. The Careers Connect also gives you a brief. They also have a lot of job opportunities. They have a lot of internship opportunities. So it's really easy to get job. And talking about accommodation, also it's quite safe. Every college is unique. The crowd is diverse. I got to learn a lot about different cultures, and there are the various kinds of societies related to all kinds of field. Like if you are from engineering field, you have engineering societies. If you are from management fields, you have there are management based societies. And there are constant speakers coming from who have achieved a significant who have achieved some really great standards in their life, and they shared about their experience. You can go and talk with them after that. So it's quite insightful, and I feel really confident to take the next step of my life. So I have a lot of gratitude for the university. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Navang. So that's a very good input from a current student there, who might be around later as well to answer questions as well if people have questions in the chat. Okay, so on to the next slide. Okay, let's just get into some details about the content and structure of our program here. So the program objectives, which was kind of like what we had in mind when we set up the program with Dubs. I was involved in the founding of the program. Was basically what we wanted to do is position graduates to exploit the economic transformation as the world moves to zero carbon operation. And that's quite an important statement because as we move to zero carbon operations, most people think that's kind of like, a charitable kind of like goal that, we should do, and we should sacrifice things in order to do that. And that's true to a certain extent, is we all want to move to zero carbon operation because we would like a planet that wasn't overheating. And that's a shared goal. In order to do that, you need to be able to buy the products and services that you use daily in a zero carbon operation. So fairly soon, I should be replacing the heating system in my house. I've currently got a gas-fired boiler. I'll be replacing it with a heat pump. I'm going to find someone who can install a heat pump for them. I'm going to hand over a lot of money, and I'm going to thank them while I do it. Because I want my heating system to work, but also I'd like it to be a zero carbon operation. There'll be lots of opportunities like that for people as the technology transforms from a carbon-based economy to one that has zero carbon operation. And there's a kind of like real win-win there, where you can also have a healthy and rewarding career doing that and get paid well at the same time as doing something that's valuable for the planet. So the real aim here is to immerse students in both business management and the underpinning technologies of energy conversion. So we want to understand how to make a business, but also how energy systems and zero carbon energy systems work. We want you to develop an advanced and systematic understanding of energy management. And one of the key things here is we want you to be able to critically review and apply relevant business management and energy conversion knowledge to practical situations. And this is kind of like one of the key things you find in a master's program that is not necessarily present in an undergraduate program, where you have this kind of critical review, where you're looking at something and you're applying some sort of very cynical and analytical eye to it, and deciding whether things are really true or not. You're not just simply repeating information that you have or applying formula. You're trying to apply that high-level synthesis and analysis that goes on. That's really what distinguishes a master's program from an undergraduate program. And also just there, again, the word critical awareness of current issues in energy management, informed by leading edge research and practice in the field. So you will be doing a research project in this field, which is going to deliver a lot of those critical skills that we talked about in the objectives. Okay, in terms of structure, we have core modules, elective modules that cover a variety of sort of technical topics, and I'll go into a little bit more detail about those. And then you have kind of like a couple of modules which you do. The Business and Engineering Systems module, 20 credits, is a group activity. That's basically where you come up, you address a scenario in groups to actually come up with a solution. So it's a bit like if you've done an engineering degree, group design work, but actually it's group, business and engineering work there. And this year we had students looking at a wind turbine development and trying to work out whether the wind turbine development would function both as a business and an engineering system as well. With some good input there from industry, and yeah, it was people really enjoyed that module. We got some very strong feedback about that module. We also have the Strategic Engineering and Business Project. This is an individual activity. This is where you will be doing some research. So you do some literature review, you then address a research question, and you produce a report about it, which is something that you will find you should find in all master's programs. And then finally, one thing that's a little bit unique about this program is you have a credit-bearing career and professional development module. So we actually give you time within the program to think about what you're going to do afterwards, to do some thinking about who you are and what you want to do afterwards and how you're going to get there. And that's assessed by a portfolio at the end of the year. So you have 180 credits in total there. A bit more detail about the core and elective modules. So these are the technical topics that you will study when you come to Durham. We've got essentially 4 topics that you cover, 2 from business, new venture creation, and environmental and climate economics. So new venture creation is about exactly what it says on the tin. It's about how you create something new within an organization. That can be within a small business or a unit of a larger business. Environment and climate economics is all about how you finance and fund environmental, how you finance and fund sort of energy projects and the wider kind of context of it. And we have 2 technical modules, which are decarbonisation of heating and cooling and future vehicles. Now, these are 2 technical modules we've chosen specifically because they're areas where there are, if you like, open questions available to you. So there are a number of ways of producing heating and cooling systems. Most of them involve burning things at the moment. And so if you want to decarbonize that, there's a number of different ways of doing that. And the final technology solution you have is not really settled. Same with future vehicles. You can have electric cars, but also hydrogen cars are quite a popular choice among development at the moment. And so how you actually do that is an interesting, still open question. And then you choose 30 credits of elective modules, and that varies each year depending on what fits in the timetable and what's available. But there are some titles there, some of which are from outside engineering and dubs, and some of them come from engineering and dubs. Okay, and just to show you what it looks like in terms of a timetable, an MSc occupies pretty much a full year. So you join us for induction, that's a week, or welcome and orientation week, or the WOW week, as it's now called. You then study core and elective modules in the first term. You then have a little bit of a break for Christmas, and then you study things again, core elective, in the spring term, and then you have exams in the summer. Engineering tends to have examinations. Dubs tends to assess things as we go along, but you do have a little bit of an exam season in May at the time. And then really towards the end of June, July, and August, you're mainly working on your project. Of the group activity, you have business and engineering systems really takes place in the first term with a bit of a presentation, I think, in the second term. And then the strategic engineering and business project really picks up towards the end of the first term and really then starts to build until the end of the year. That's the only thing you do. So that kind of gives you a flavor of what you would be doing in terms of time at this on this particular program. Okay, modes of delivery. So there's a number of different ways of doing it. Depends on the particular module. The assessment is a mixture of both coursework and examinations. You have both relatively large-scale lectures where you have someone talking through a particular topic at the front, and that can be relatively interactive with modern technology. We quite often use polling and you have a little chat where you can ask questions and things like that. So that can be more interactive than you might think. But we also have small group activity where you have what are effectively design group meetings within the business engineering systems module. We do a bunch of seminars within the strategic business and engineering project, and you also have kind of one-to-one project meetings towards the end of the program. So a variety of kind of like different modes of delivery available to you there. We also do try and work quite closely with industry. We have a number of guest speakers coming in. We've had people on the business and engineering systems project coming in. We also have projects that are very highly related to businesses, and we also have close work with our career services. And we'll also be organising some site visits as the weather improves as summer approaches. Okay, a little bit of detail about new venture creation, which is one of those modules that I talked about there. And really, this is a module designed to encourage you to create new things. So you have opportunity examination, new venture creation, small business management, understanding the context of that. It's really designed to make you understand how you create something new within a small or a large organization. And also the challenges and approaches to sustainable growth. Basically, that's a euphemism for saying how things might go wrong as you're doing new venture creation. Okay, a little bit more detail about that. This module really is looking at also as well the differences between small business owners, managers, and entrepreneurial teams to look beyond just upper echelon logic, which is basically what people see at the top, but also how other people in the organization perceive things going on, and also actually how to address lots of the relationships that take place when you're trying to make something new happen, either on your own or in a larger organization. And I'm particularly keen on that module because I hope that our graduates will go out and do new things once they've got their MSc, as they will go out perhaps start their own business as they see opportunities, or actually go out and do new things within a larger organization. So I hope you'll be agents of change once you graduate from this particular program. Okay, future vehicles, as I said, is looking at what you might do with a new type of car. So you have a variety of approaches to this. Electric cars are certainly a big part of that. So we talked a little bit about that as well. But there are also other options as well. And this module basically is really to provide an overview of these options, to explain the basic working principles. So one of the things you'll find is lots of people will try and suggest novel and new things that may or may not have a sound physical basis of working. And one of the things I want you to be able to equip once you finish this course is you're able to decide whether someone making a pitch to you about a particular technology, whether it's actually viable or not. You don't have to go into the details of it, but you want to understand the principles, and you want to actually understand that, okay, this is going to work or this is not going to work at a very high level. To understand some of the constraints, and then also to introduce some analytical methods for designing these vehicles here. And I borrowed this. This is an actual slide from one of the lectures, which is kind of illustrating kind of like where the different topics come from in the program. Yeah, so I think that's what I wanted to say there. Strategic business and engineering project in detail. So what we have here is we have it's really a two-part sort of course. Is you have research methods training, where we have a sort of about 15 to 20 or so seminars where we cover a wide variety of stuff. So we've done stuff on data collection, on ethics, on presenting, or we're going to be doing stuff on presenting data. And we've talked about how you go through and find good papers and bad papers and how you critically assess whether a paper is a good or a bad paper. It's assessed by two means. You have a research method digital portfolio, which includes a literature review, and then at the end of the day, you produce a 10-page journal format report about your topic. The topic itself, we've moved towards having people having individual topics where they suggest their own topic. Originally, we were going to think about addressing everyone addressing the same topic, but we had such diversity in the cohort that arrived that really everyone wanted to do something that was related to their own activity or their own. Some people are sponsored by companies, and they wanted to do something that was related to that, and so on and so forth. So you get to kind of like decide what your own topic is as you go through this strategic engineering and business project, which is very exciting. Okay, a few words about funding. So we do have scholarships that are built into the program from day one, and they essentially give you an amount of money, which this year is around about £7,500 towards a tuition fee for September 2024 entry. You don't have to apply separately for these. You'll be considered for a scholarship as part of the application. You also have, if you're a Durham University alumni, there is a discount for tuition fee, and there are a variety of other scholarships and sources of funding, of which the link is available below. Okay, some frequently asked questions before we get on to some general Q&A. So people often ask, is there a reading list or set of resources they can access before starting the program? And the answer to that is not especially. The program is quite self-contained. We don't expect you to know, if we're going to admit you to the program, we think you've got the qualifications you need to have success. So you don't necessarily need to do any special preparation before the program. I would just encourage you to be aware of current issues in energy and make sure you're reading around the topic a little bit, but there's no specific reading list or things you need to do before starting the program, especially. In terms of contact hours, it varies depending on what set of modules that you pick and so on and so forth. But typically, it's a fairly consistent, and it depends from week to week in the program, but it's fairly consistent at MSc type program where you might have 10 to 15 contact hours a week or so, maybe slightly less, slightly more, depending on the options that you've chosen. Other frequently asked questions: how much independent work is there? Quite a lot. Okay, so you obviously have your strategic business and engineering project, which is 60 credits, a third of the program. That's independent work. And the core and elective modules, you're largely working and studying a technical topic, and then you'll be examined on that individually. So you'll be doing a reasonable amount of independent work. Though of course you'll be studying as a group, but the outputs that you produce obviously need to be your own. There are opportunities for group work. We have our business and engineering systems group work opportunities. So you have an opportunity to demonstrate behavior in a group and so on and so forth. And that is about 20 credits of the program as a whole. So it's a relatively small portion. Employment opportunities. Well, we're currently running the first year, so we don't have employment data for the particular program at the moment because it's obviously the first year. But we have good employability in most other things that in fact, a lot of the things that we run, both in Dubs and engineering. So we have no reason to think that this would not be a good program. It's a bit different. It's a bit unique. It's very exciting. So we have no reason to be particularly worried about that at this stage. Okay, and that brings us to the Q&A. So that's the end of my part. So yeah, I can take questions in the chat now.
Thank you so much for giving us this insightful presentation. Now time for Q&A session. I will help you call out the question from the YouTube chat box. So the first question is, what are the most promising emerging technology in renewable energy today?
So the most promising technologies. Well, I mean, I think it's there's a number of things. I suppose it depends what you mean by promising. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in decarbonization of heating and cooling. Because if you look at, well, I suppose there's a couple of areas. If you look at vehicles, you can buy an electric car. If you look at electricity generation, you can buy wind turbines or you can buy solar panels, and they're quite established technology. You can buy them and get a warranty for them. Decarbonisation of heating and cooling, I think there are a number of open questions there about what the best way to do it is. And I think that's a rich opportunity. And the other big one as well is decarbonisation of air travel as well. That's a big kind of growth area as well. So I hope that answers the question.
What are the current trends in the development of electric vehicles?
So I think basically the current trends in the development of electric vehicles it's all about infrastructure. So you can get an electric vehicle, and actually they're very nice. You know, they actually have enormous. I mean, the ironic thing about electric vehicles is even the cheapest one behaves like a really powerful sports car, because the motor is smooth and quite powerful. It doesn't have the torque speed curve that you have for an IC engine, so they're very sporty. But the difficulty is infrastructure. So when you're going on a long trip, can you charge it up? It takes a bit of time to get charged up. You know, is the infrastructure there for you to do the thing? So I think the current, you know, the current technology development area there is really about making sure people can charge their cars.
How can students stand out while applying for scholarship in this course?
So how do you stand out whilst applying for a scholarship in this course? I think there's a number of things we're keen to see in an application. So I think basically academic excellence is one. We are a top 100 university, so we're interested in people who are academically good. So good grades, high performance there is something to do. So emphasize that in your application. I think also you know, having a particular strong ambition towards doing something with the course. You know, are you going to benefit from the course? You know, what are you going to do with the course that other people maybe would not do? So those are the two things I would emphasize in the application.
How can businesses successfully integrate renewable energy solutions into their existing operations?
So I think that depends. That's quite a broad question. It's a very interesting question. And I think it depends basically as to what they're doing. I think, you know, it's interesting. I mean, if I look across at the roof opposite me, I can see a bunch of solar panels that we've installed on the roof to sort of decarbonize our electricity bill. So there's lots of kind of physical things you can do with the energy use that you have at the moment. And then there are other kind of people you can engage with, you know, and part of that is sort of supplier engagement and making sure that your suppliers are also on the sort of same journey as you are as well. I mean, there's huge interest and huge opportunity in this area at the moment. I think, you know, consumers very much want things to be lower carbon. They also want them to be affordable, which is the other challenge as well. But it sort of depends on what your particular business is doing. I think it's a question really of trying to find out what the opportunities are in the particular context that you're in.
Okay, so I've covered all the questions from the YouTube chat box. Thank you for answering all the questions so well. Do you want to share any final words?
So yeah, I think this is an interesting program. I think it's a good fusion between engineering and management, and I'm sure our graduates on it will go and do great things as they deliver the zero carbon world that we're all looking forward to.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your valuable time. All the audience, if you have any further question, please feel free to contact the SI UK India office. For more update, do follow us on our social media handles. Bye bye. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.